Welcome back to Stock Explorers. You know, we love to explore companies pushing the boundaries. And today, we're doing a deep dive into Rocketlab. They're really shaking things up in the space industry.
Absolutely.
So if you're interested in their stock, we're going to explore why Rocketlab just might have the competitive edge in this exciting new frontier.
Yeah.
They're aiming to be a major player in the space industry. And get this, even though they're not profitable yet, they have a massive backlog of orders.
Oh.
We get into all of that and a lot more.
Yeah.
But first, can you believe that Rocketlab is already the third most frequently launched rocket globally?
It's amazing.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
After SpaceX and China's Long March, they're not just launching satellites, they're even working on projects like returning samples from Mars.
I know, it's wild, right?
Yeah.
What's really fascinating about Rocketlab is their approach. They're not just a launch company, they're an end-to-end space company.
Yeah.
So they design and manufacture rockets, they create spacecraft components, and they even manage satellites once they're in orbit.
So it's like they have their hands in every part of the space pie.
Exactly. They're vertically integrated, which is a fancy way of saying they control almost every aspect of their business. And that gives them a lot of control over cost timelines and quality.
Okay. I see how that would be a big deal. But wouldn't that be super expensive, building all that infrastructure from scratch?
It is a big investment upfront for sure, but it pays off in the long run.
Okay.
Think about it this way. They're not reliant on other companies for essential parts or expertise. They don't have to deal with delays, price hikes, or quality issues from external suppliers.
Makes sense.
And it allows them to be much more agile and responsive to customer needs.
Oh, okay.
They can adapt and innovate quickly because they own the whole process.
Yeah, that makes sense. So they've got this competitive edge, and they're launching rockets like crazy. Tell me more about these rockets. So they have the Electron and now this new Neutron rocket, right?
Right.
What's the deal with those two?
So the Electron has been their workhorse for a while now. It's a smaller rocket designed for dedicated launches of small satellites. They've launched over 50 Electron rockets successfully. Wow. Which is pretty remarkable for a company their size.
Yeah, I remember reading that the average price for an Electron launch has gone up by a whopping 67% since its debut.
Yeah.
It's pretty impressive.
Definitely shows the demand is there. Now, Neutron is a different beast altogether. It's their new medium-lift rocket,
Okay.
and it's designed to carry much larger payloads. So think about deploying entire constellations of satellites,
Oh, wow.
handling national security missions, even supporting human space exploration beyond Earth's orbit. This is where things get really exciting.
Hold on. Did you say reusable? Like SpaceX's Falcon 9? Can they really pull that off?
That's the goal, and they're going all in on cutting-edge technology to make it happen. So Neutron will be the world's first medium-lift rocket made primarily of carbon composite.
Okay, so for those of us who aren't rocket scientists, what does that mean exactly?
Think of it like the material they use in high-performance race cars.
Oh, okay.
It's super light, yet incredibly strong, perfect for withstanding the stresses of multiple launches and landings. And get this, they're using 3D-printed Archimedes engines, designed specifically for rapid reusability. It's a pretty bold move.
So let me get this straight. Electron is for those smaller, more specialized missions.
Right.
While Neutron is the heavy lifter with reusability for those bigger, bolder endeavors.
Exactly.
Makes sense. But how does this all compare to other space companies like Planet Labs and Black Sky? They're both involved in the space business too, right?
You're right, but here's the key difference. Rocketlab isn't focused on the same things as Planet Labs or Black Sky.
Okay.
Those companies are primarily about Earth observation and data analytics. So they launch satellites to gather images and information from space.
Okay.
Rocketlab is providing the tools and services for a much broader range of customers.
So they're not just launching satellites, they're building the foundation for all sorts of space activities.
Exactly. They're catering to everyone from commercial satellite operators to government agencies like NASA and the U.S. Space Force.
Wow.
They're not limiting themselves to any one specific application of space technology.
That makes them sound pretty unique. So if their customer base is so diverse, how is that translating into their growth? Are we seeing a lot of demand for their services?
Absolutely. Their backlog of orders has grown by a staggering 80% year on year, reaching over $1 billion. It's a clear sign that they're onto something big. And this is just the beginning. In the third quarter of 2024 alone, they signed over $55 million in new launch contracts for Electron. That's huge. Overall, the revenue for that quarter was $105 million,
Wow.
a 55% jump compared to the same time last year. This company is on fire.
Wow, those are some impressive numbers. But here's the million-dollar question. Are they actually making any profit from all of this?
That's the thing. They're not profitable yet, at least not on paper. Right now, they're still in a heavy investment phase.
Okay.
They're pouring money into scaling up their production and manufacturing to meet this incredible demand.
Right.
And of course, developing Neutron is a huge undertaking,
Yeah.
which is eating into their profits for now.
So they're spending money to make money,
Yeah,
but are they doing it in a smart way?
that's the key question, right? And that's what we'll explore next. We'll dive into their path to profitability, their plans to avoid diluting your investment, and some of their most exciting projects that could make them a true giant in the space industry.
Sounds like things are about to get really interesting. Stay tuned, folks, because you won't want to miss this.
So you're probably wondering how Rocketlab plans to become profitable
Right.
and avoid diluting your investment.
Yeah, that's the big question.
Well, one way is through smart strategic partnerships.
Right.
They've recently teamed up with Varda Space Industries
Okay.
to build and launch the second Pioneer spacecraft.
Varda Space Industries, that's a new one. What do they do?
Think space factories.
Space factories.
Varda is pioneering in-space pharmaceutical processing and hypersonic Earth reentry logistics. So they're using the unique environment of space to create products that can then be sent back to Earth.
A factory in space. That sounds straight out of science fiction. What kind of products are we talking about here? And why even make them in space in the first place?
Well, imagine a world where we can manufacture things in a completely weightless environment. It opens up all sorts of possibilities, especially for pharmaceuticals.
Why pharmaceuticals specifically?
Because microgravity allows for the creation of products with unique properties that we just can't achieve on Earth. For example, growing perfect protein crystals for drug development.
Oh,
The absence of gravity can lead to more uniform and larger crystals, potentially leading to more effective medications.
wow. So Rocketlab is helping to launch an entirely new industry, one that could revolutionize medicine as we know it. That's pretty mind-blowing.
It is, and they're not stopping there. They're also developing advanced satellite dispensers. In fact, just last year, they introduced a brand new one called the Advanced Satellite Dispenser.
Okay, back up a second. Satellite dispensers, what are those exactly?
Think of it like this. You've got these tiny satellites ready to do their job in orbit, but they need a gentle nudge to get there safely. The dispenser is like a carefully choreographed release system for these little guys, making sure they're deployed into their correct orbits.
Ah, so it's the final push that sends those tiny satellites on their way. What's so special about this new dispenser they've developed?
Well, this new dispenser builds upon their proven track record with their earlier model, the canisterized satellite dispenser, which has already successfully deployed over 60 satellites. They're constantly innovating and improving their technology to meet the evolving needs of their customers.
So they're not a one-trick pony. It seems like Rocketlab is involved in so many different aspects of the space industry, from building rockets to launching satellites to creating these specialized components like dispensers.
And that's just their commercial work. They're also deeply involved in government and scientific missions. They've launched missions for NASA, the U.S. Air Force, DARPA, the NRO, you name it.
So they're working with some pretty big names in the space world.
And get this, they're even working on a potential mission to return samples from Mars.
Wait, a Mars sample return mission? Seriously, isn't that incredibly ambitious?
It is. NASA is currently exploring new ways to bring Martian rock and soil samples back to Earth for study. And Rocketlab has been selected to conduct a study for a proposal that would retrieve these samples on an accelerated schedule
Oh, wow.
and at a reduced cost compared to the current plans.
Okay, this is huge. If they can pull this off, it would be a major scientific breakthrough.
Yeah.
But why Rocketlab? What makes them qualified for such a complex mission?
They actually have a surprising amount of experience with Mars missions.
Oh.
Their technology has already been used in several Mars projects. In fact, their technology has been incorporated into the Mars InSight lander, the Ingenuity helicopter, and even the cruise stage that carried the Perseverance rover to Mars.
That's right. Perseverance is the one collecting the samples, right? So they've already played a part in this incredible endeavor.
Exactly. And remember how we talked about their vertical integration? That gives them a big advantage here. It means they can develop a more cost-effective and faster approach. Because they have in-house expertise in everything from small launch vehicles and spacecraft development to re-entry technology and mission management, they're really well positioned to make this audacious plan a reality.
It's amazing to think that everything they've been doing, launching those small satellites, building those spacecraft components, could be leading up to this. It's like their entire journey has been preparing them for this ultimate challenge.
And it really shows their long-term vision and strategic planning. They're not just going for the quick wins. They're laying the groundwork for tackling some of the most challenging and exciting projects in space exploration. This Mars mission could be a game changer for them.
But for now, it's still just a proposal.
Hmm.
What else are they doing to strengthen their position in the government and scientific sectors? Are there any other projects in the pipeline?
Absolutely. They're actively working to deepen their relationships with key agencies. They recently secured a significant contract with the U.S. Air Force Research Laboratory, for example.
Oh, interesting. What are they doing for the Air Force?
They're showcasing their advanced digital engineering processes, specifically focusing on the development of the Archimedes engine for their Neutron rocket.
So they're not just building rockets, they're innovating in the design and engineering processes themselves. That's pretty impressive.
And it's a smart move. Government agencies like the Air Force are increasingly looking for partners who can offer cutting-edge technology and efficient processes. Plus, this particular contract ties into the National Security Space Launch Program,
Okay.
or NSSL.
NSSL, what's that all about?
It's a program run by the U.S. Space Force to guarantee reliable access to space for critical national security missions. And Rocketlab is hoping to become a key player in this program with their Neutron rocket. It's a lucrative market,
Right.
and they're positioning themselves to compete for some high-value contracts in the coming years.
Sounds like they have their sights set on a big chunk of the government space launch market.
You bet. And they're not stopping there. They're also working with the U.S. Transportation Command to explore using Neutron for something truly revolutionary point-to-point cargo delivery.
Hold it, a point-to-point cargo delivery. Are we talking about shipping packages across the globe via space? Like ordering something online and it gets delivered by rocket?
It might sound like science fiction, but it's an idea that's gaining serious traction. Imagine being able to transport goods anywhere in the world in a matter of hours instead of days or weeks.
Wow, that would be a game changer for global logistics.
Yeah.
So we've covered a lot of ground here. We've talked about Rocket Lab's competitive advantages, their impressive growth, their strategies for becoming profitable and avoiding diluting your stock, their innovative projects, and their deep involvement in both the commercial and government sectors.
It's a remarkable story, really. They're not just building rockets, they're building an entire ecosystem for space exploration, manufacturing, and commerce. They're a company with a bold vision for the future of space.
But that raises a really important question. With all this ambition and all these incredible projects they're involved in, can Rocket Lab really become a major player in this new space race? I mean, the space industry is getting pretty crowded these days.
That's the big question, isn't it? They certainly seem to be doing all the right things.
Yeah.
Their vertical integration, that focus on reusability with Neutron, the fact that they have such a diverse customer base, and all of those strategic partnerships, it all points towards a pretty bright future, if you ask me.
But they're not the only ones with big dreams, right?
Yeah.
You've got those established giants like SpaceX and then all of these new startups popping up all over the place. The competition must be fierce.
It is. But healthy competition can be a good thing. It drives innovation, pushes everyone to be better, and Rocket Lab has consistently shown that they can adapt, they can evolve, and they can deliver cutting-edge technology at a price that makes sense.
They're not just following the trends, they're setting them.
Exactly. They're creating their own space, so to speak, by focusing on those tailored solutions for a wide range of customers. And they're not afraid to take risks on those ambitious projects like that Mars sample return mission. And they're always looking for ways to expand their offerings and their capabilities.
It's clear they have a big, bold vision for the future of space. They're not content with just launching satellites. They want to be at the forefront of space exploration manufacturing and even commerce. They're not just a launch provider, they're a space company in the truest sense.
And that's what makes them so exciting to watch. They're pushing the boundaries of what's possible beyond Earth.
So what does all this mean for you, our listeners? Well, if you're thinking about investing in the future of space, Rocket Lab is definitely a company worth keeping a close eye on. They've got that unique blend of innovation, ambition, and a knack for making things happen.
They're a great example of how the space industry isn't just for governments and those giant corporations anymore. Companies like Rocket Lab are proving that there's room for fresh ideas and new approaches.
And that's what we love about them. They embody that spirit of exploration and that relentless pursuit of pushing boundaries. Who knows what incredible things they'll achieve in the years to come. It's an exciting time to be watching this company and this industry as a whole.
The future of space is full of possibilities, and Rocket Lab seems poised to play a major role in shaping it.
And on that note, we are wrapping up our deep dive into Rocketlab. We hope you found this exploration as fascinating as we did. Remember to subscribe to Stock Explorers for more in-depth analysis of innovative companies. And don't forget to like this episode and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next exciting deep dive.